Monday evening, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team, where we have a weather impact alert in effect for the rest of the nighttime hours tonight and into tomorrow morning due to the wind and the cold. And that's not the only weather impact alert we have. We have another one in effect for Thursday, actually for Friday and for Saturday, and that is because of not only the cold, but moisture that's going to be mixing in. So over the next little bit, we're going to be breaking down the threats that we're going to be dealing with the cold and wind for tonight, and then the potential for any winter precip to move our way once we get toward the end of the week and also the beginning of the weekend. Let's concentrate on the wind and cold that we have over us right now. Now, this weather impact alert will be in effect until about 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, as we've already been dealing with the wind and cold around, and that's the main thing that we're going to be watching. We have the cold temperatures. They have been falling since early this morning. We are all below freezing right now. We most likely will stay below freezing until about 10 o'clock in the morning before we get back above freezing. And we also have the wind to deal with too. We have a wind advisory that is in effect until 7 o'clock in the morning. Those winds are still going to be rather gusty for the overnight hours. So what you need to do if you're headed out, you need to have some heavy coats. You need to be dressing in layers, and just make sure that you are bundled up when you're headed out, especially for long periods of times. Try to cover up your exposed skin. Now, take a look at these temperatures for today. We made it up to 60 degrees for a high temperature today. Not this afternoon. That was during the overnight hours. And I know the highest hourly you see right here is 5 a.m., but it actually popped up to 60 degrees in between those hourlies. And then after that, we pretty much held in the 50s through about 9 o'clock. And as that front came through, that's when the winds shifted coming out of the north and west, and those temperatures started falling into the 40s. We held in the 40s from 10 o'clock until about 2 o'clock, and then dropping into the 30s, 37 degrees at 3 o'clock. We were at freezing at 6 o'clock tonight, and ever since then, we have been just below freezing. And of course, it feels even colder out there when you factor in that wind. The wind chill is making it feel like it's in the 20s, and by morning, we're going to have wind chill readings that are going to be feeling like they are in the teens. Here's a look at satellite and radar, still holding on to a few of those clouds out there. We're beginning to see some clearing there over in parts of East Georgia, and that clearing will continue overnight. I do think tomorrow we're going to see a lot more sunshine around, and even though we have clouds, we're not seeing any rain. We're not seeing any snow. We did have some reports earlier of a few snow flurries. And what's happening with that is the cold air is just squeezing out any remaining moisture in those clouds, and some of that falls in the form of a few snow flurries or snow grains. Sometimes they're so small, they're kind of hard to see. You're like, wait a minute, was that something white floating in the air? So any of those flurries that we had earlier or any more that we might see around tonight are not going to cause any issues. They won't stick. It really won't be much of that at all. Here's a live look. I know this is dark. It's hard to see. University of North Georgia. We were watching a few flurries earlier up in parts of Dahlonega. This is our view right now in Blue Ridge. Also, earlier we were watching a few of those snow flurries there in Blue Ridge. Right now, everything is fine. No precip. The roads are dry. It is just cold out there. Still some of those Christmas and holiday decorations looking kind of festive there in the Blue Ridge area. Here is a look at some video sent in earlier from Lauren Wu up in Hiawassee from earlier today. See there on the grill cover, a little bit of sleet kind of trying to show up there. They mentioned they had a few little snow flurries around as well. But of course, it didn't cause any problems earlier today up in parts of North Georgia. All right, check out these temperatures that we have in Atlanta. We are still below freezing. We've been holding at 31 for the past few hours. We have 31 also in Peachtree City. Check out Carrollton right now at 28 degrees, also 28 in Canton, 29 in Duluth. You can see pretty much everybody is at least at or below freezing. We have a few more of those 20s up in North Georgia, Blairsville, Clayton, Canton, as I mentioned, 28 degrees, Dalton, 29. So it is cold out there. But remember, with the wind, it feels even colder. Here in Atlanta, it feels like 18 degrees. It also feels like 18 in Marietta, as well as in Duluth and in Peachtree City. 16 degrees is the wind chill in Carrollton, and up in Blairsville, it's 18. Dalton is 16, and then Dalton is also 18. Here's a look at the wind advisory. It's really for all of us here. Now, again, up in northeast Georgia there along the South Carolina line, we're not ignoring you at all. It's just at the Greenville-Spartanburg office of the National Weather Service. They are in control of your counties. They have just not issued a wind advisory for you. But the National Weather Service here in Atlanta has issued a wind advisory for the rest of the counties here. We have been seeing sustained winds between 15 and 25 miles an hour. It is still possible overnight that we could have some wind gusts, potentially around 35 miles an hour. We had a peak wind gust in Atlanta today of 51 miles an hour. Yeah, it was very blustery outside for today. Right now, we still have those winds that are right at about 21 miles an hour here in Atlanta, 23 miles an hour in Peachtree City. These are the sustained winds, but factor in the wind gusts, and it makes it even stronger out there. Again, just the gusts are like the bursts of wind that can come by every once in a while, not the sustained winds. By 10:30, we're still going to be seeing some winds between 25 and 30 miles an hour. Those gusts out there tonight. Overnight, still breezy, but by morning, wind gusts will be around 16 here, 14 in the Gainesville area, 13 in Duluth, and then pretty much gusts holding between 10 and 15 miles an hour tomorrow. That's why we're thinking the wind advisory will expire at 7 in the morning. Again, it's still going to be breezy at times during the day, but the winds are going to be just below wind advisory criteria. But any wind out there with temperatures like this is going to feel even colder. We're expecting to start off in Atlanta at 26 degrees in the morning with the wind chills in the teens, and then getting back above freezing most likely around 10 o'clock in the morning, when we'll see those temperatures between 10 and 11 getting back up to freezing. So we hit freezing at 6 o'clock in Atlanta. Other areas were already below freezing by 6 o'clock. But for Atlanta, we went to freezing at 6 p.m. We'll be above freezing. We're thinking around between 9 and 10 or between 10 and 11. So that would be 15 to 16 hours of temperatures below freezing. We will have multiple hours in the day tomorrow, like 11 o'clock is above freezing. So 11, 1, 3, 5, 7. I don't think we'll go back to below freezing again until maybe 8 o'clock tomorrow night. So there will be multiple hours where we'll be above freezing. Now, many people are wondering if this is going to be a pipe freezing event. Now, I want you to take some precautions because every home is different. Some people's pipes are a little more susceptible for freezing than others. But the good news is the last time we had a big pipe bursting event was when we had temperatures that stayed below freezing for about 48 hours. We also had low temperatures that went down into the single digits with those highs, again, that didn't even make it above freezing for a day or two. But this is a situation where, yeah, we're going to have a prolonged time frame of about 15, 16, 17 hours at temperatures below freezing, but we will have some hours in the afternoon for those temperatures to get above freezing. So it's not like an all day below freezing kind of thing. Now, if your pipes are susceptible, you still want to take some of those precautions to let your faucets drip. Open up the cabinets under the sinks to allow some of the heated air in your home to get up under those cabinets to help keep those the pipes a little bit warmer. Also, be sure and disconnect your hoses outside. If you have a turn off in your house to turn off the spigots from the inside so the water won't even get to the spigot, be sure and do that, or either make sure those spigots are covered up outside. But we don't think this is like a big time pipe bursting event that we're going to be dealing with here, because we'll have some hours in the afternoon where those temperatures can move up. Now, the big question getting into the end of the week is, will we see moisture coming in to mix in with this cold air, and will it give us any winter precipitation? Let me show you what we're watching right now. There is an area of low pressure that is going to be developing in the Gulf and moving along the Gulf Coast here for the end of the week and moving into the weekend. Now, whenever we get big snows here in our area, they're usually caused by Gulf lows coming up from the Gulf of Mexico and moving up into the southeast. However, the track of that low is very important to determine whether or not we would see a cold rain or whether or not we would have freezing rain or sleet or accumulating snow. So here's a look at a couple of the scenarios that we're watching. And we don't know exactly yet what is going to be happening with this low until we can get a better handle on that low and the track. Then we'll be able to spend a little more time and feeling a little more confident with the type of precipitation we'll have and also any amounts and more on the timing of that. If this low stays more down to the south and travels this way, we'll have more cold air over us, and any of that moisture that rides up over that would be more likely to be some snow. If this low comes up more to the north this way, it becomes a little bit more of a cold rain event, or maybe some freezing rain or sleet mixing in with the snow more to the north. So we just don't know exactly where that track is going to go right now. And so that is going to determine what type of impacts that we're going to be seeing from it. So here's a look at, based on what we're seeing right now, what we think could happen. We're thinking that based on what we're seeing right now, that we would have a cold rain Atlanta southward, some mixing here in the metro Atlanta area. My concern is that we may see some freezing rain here for a period on Friday. That would cause ice, which is what we don't need and what we don't want. That kind of increases the likelihood of trees coming down or any power outages. So that's one of the issues that I'm concerned about right now, is that it's going to start off potentially as some snow flurries, then change over to some freezing rain, and then at the end over it have some snow coming down on that. We do think that the chances are higher, let's just say roughly along I-20 and northward, to have that chance for some winter precip there, with the snow chances mainly north metro and up into North Georgia, of where we could see some accumulating snow. Now that is based on what we're seeing right now. Tomorrow, when the new models come in, we may see something totally different, and we'll be changing this. So please know, just because you hear me saying this tonight, it could be totally different tomorrow based on what we're seeing, because it is so critical based on where we see that low and the direction it's heading and just how strong it is as well. So here's a look at the model comparisons. The American model is showing, now this is for Friday, all right? This is showing that cold rain, Atlanta southward, some mixing though to the north and east. And if we see a wedge developing, that will be a shallow layer of cool air at the surface, and we could see some of that sleet or freezing rain coming through that, and then maybe changing over to some snow overnight Friday into your Saturday. The European model is showing the winter mix covering more of metro Atlanta northward as well, but again, potentially changing over to some snow flurries here into Saturday. So that's our second weather impact alert for the end of the week. We're talking about Friday and on Saturday. Thanks to that Gulf low that's going to be moving through, we're talking about that possibility of a wintry mix here. So what you need to do right now is just pay attention. Again, watch us every day, because we will be updating the new information and new data coming in to help us fine-tune this forecast just a little bit more. So here's what we can say right now. We do feel confident that the Arctic cold is not only here now, but it's going to be with us for the next few days. We are also going to be tracking that Gulf low and where it's going to go. We do feel pretty confident that some of us will have a winter weather mix at least. And we're also confident about the timing being Friday into early on Saturday. What we can't say yet is we don't really know the exact path of the storm until we can figure out the track that low is going to take. We also can't say if everyone is going to see winter weather. Right now, chances are higher to the north of us. We also can't say how much or what type of wintry weather we could have, or the extent of the impact. So a lot to watch here over the next few days. For the next couple of days here, we're watching that northwest flow. That is going to be giving us a lot of sunshine tomorrow, but it's going to be cool and breezy. And really for the next few days, the main focus is going to be that really cold air. So the weather impact alert early on Tuesday, it stays cold Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Then second weather impact alert Friday and Saturday, as we see that moisture coming in. Could be rain, cold rain, areas could see some sleet or freezing rain, and we may have some snow. That would be more likely there on the north side. Then we start clearing out more on Sunday and on Monday, but it stays cold. Temperatures will, though, be in the 40s more into those afternoon hours. So keep it with us right here at 11 Alive, and your weather impact team will keep tracking everything with this. You can scan the QR code to make sure you download the 11 Alive Plus app.